Hello Stampers! I have a whimsical card for you today, using a couple of my favorite sets from the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. The first one we'll be using is the Celebrate with Flowers stamp set. It has, you can use these flowers either hanging down or standing up. Today we're going to have them hanging down, and we're going to emboss these using the Emboss Resist technique, which is always fun. And we're also going to use the Nature's Beauty stamp set, which has this great deer. Actually, I like all the little critters. So Nature's Beauty, Celebrate with Flowers. Are you ready to make this card? You can do it. We're going to do it just like I do all my tutorials. We're going to go step by step, and you'll end up with this beautiful fantasy type card. So we're going to start with a 3.5 by 8.5 piece of basic white. And we're going to stamp the flower first. And this is kind of a fun technique. We're going to use Versamark. We're going to load our stamp with Versamark, and then we're going to load it with our ink color. I have a clean Versamark pad that I just use when I just want my paper to stay white, or use it like just regular Versamark. But for this technique, I have this old Versamark pad. I know it looks pretty bad, but it still works wonderful. So we're going to use Calypso Core ink on our Versamark for this, and we're going to start out with our flower. And I'm going to load my stamp up with the Versamark. I'm going to go directly onto my ink pad, and I'm going to stamp my flowers. Now I don't want to stamp them any further down than, we're going to say 4 inches on this panel. We're going to stamp a few here, different heights. So I'm not cleaning my stamp in between. Loading it with Versamark, Calypso Coral, stamping it on the panel. Do this as many times as you want. Get as many flowers as you'd like. There, I think that's enough. Then we're going to heat emboss these images using a heat tool and clear embossing powder. I'm going to load the embossing powder on. Make sure it's good and covered. Give it a good whack on the back. And then we're going to heat it up. I like to hold my paper up. That way I'm not trying to heat my whole desk. I'm just trying to heat the paper itself. And you only want to heat it until the image turns. There goes one. Don't want to overheat it, else your embossing will actually soak into the paper. And we don't want that. And we're just heating it just until it turns. Okay. There are those. And now we can put our stems in. And we're going to use that same Versamark pad and Granny Apple Green for our stems. So I'm going to load this up with my Versamark. Granny Apple Green. And then we're going to stamp it. And it's okay to stamp over your images. They will kind of melt off. And when we heat them up, when we go to emboss these images, they'll kind of melt off those already embossed images, which is really cool. Do our long ones here first. put a stem on for our shorter ones. This is our last one here. Okay. Granny apple green stems and leaves. And we need our embossing powder again. Again, this is clear embossing powder. I know I have a ton of it in my little container here. Makes it so much easier to work with. I don't have to use a separate piece of paper to catch it on or anything. I just whack it back into the container. I'm going to heat these up. Again, we're only going to heat them until they turn shiny. I don't know if you can see, but see it melting off the embossed images. And that sends those leaves to the background. And some of them do show through a little bit still on the embossed images, and that is okay, especially in this circumstance. Because if they show through, it's almost like the flower's a little translucent, and you can see some of the leaf coming through. It's like it's translucent, and you're just looking through the flower. So there's that part. And now we're going to have some fun with our background inks. Wipe off any embossing powder I have going on there. We're going to start with Balmy Blue ink and a blending brush. I'm going to start putting in our background colors here. You can go right over these embossed images. How cool is that? And it really makes them pop when you do. Just going to bring it down to almost like a little arch there. Okay, there's Balmy Blue. Let's put some gorgeous grape on the top here a little bit. And we're going to use a blending brush. I like to layer colors. It makes your skies and stuff so much more interesting than just one color. Some along here. I like to get dark in different spots. Again, just for interest. Okay, and that was Highland Heather, by the way. So let's go with Saffron now. Bring in some yellow into our scene. And it's nice to get that purple in here between our blue and yellow, because blue and yellow make green, and we really don't want a lot of green in our sky. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the whole bottom with Saffron. These blending brushes sure make this quick. Okay, there's our Saffron. Let's pull some. Okay. Use that same brush. And just get some Calypso coral in here. let's do some, go back to our Granny Apple Green to get in some light grasses. We're going to put some light grass color in here. It kind of makes the deer look like he's standing back in the scene more when you go light with your grass. So we're going to build this up. Okay, there's our Granny Apple Green in the bottom. We're going to add some Mossy Meadow in the bottom. Say like half of this grassy area. We'll do Mossy Meadow. I'm going to stamp the little branches at the bottom just a couple times here, just to put some interest in the foreground. And that was with Memento Tuxedo Black. Now I want to put some images in the background behind these flowers, and we're going to use those same flower images and leaf images. Just clean our stamp, and we're going to use Fresh Freesia ink for this, just so it looks like that there's more images in the background, you know, kind of hanging out there. That was the flower, and now we're going to do the stem. Just add some stem and leaves to each flower that you put on with Fresh Freesia. Okay. And now we need a paper towel. I'm going to use a paper towel here, and we're just going to lightly wipe off our images. And see how that comes off those embossed images? How nice, right? Okay. And let's put some of that Mossy Meadow around the top area. Just so it looks like it has more leaves up here. Kind of frame it in a little bit. Okay. That was Mossy Meadow. All right, how about we put some, this is always fun. Let's put some dots in here with a white chalk marker. And I like to put them like coming down the stems, kind of in a row, so it looks like you have like strings of pearls or something hanging here. Let's add some interest. Even a little bit down below these flowers. See, I'm going very fast. If you go too slow, you're going to get too symmetrical, and they're going to look really strange. Okay, so just quickly add them. Try to do some lines of them, like curvy lines. All right. Cute, right? And then we're going to add some in this grassy area, just little clumps of them. Try to avoid your little branches there. Okay, that's for little flowers at the bottom. That's that. Now we just need our deer. That background was fast, right? For all that we have going on. Now we just need a piece of white cardstock, basic white. And we're going to stamp our deer, and we're going to use Memento Tuxedo Black. Did you ever lose something on your desk? Well, I totally have lost it. There it is. Sorry about that. So we're going to stamp our deer. And this is from the Nature's Beauty set I showed you earlier. It's an adorable, adorable image. And we're going to use 3 markers to color this. We're going to start out with, these are all Stampin' Blends, and we're going to start out with the brush end of a light So Saffron. And we're going to leave the inside of his ear white. And as you see, you don't have to worry about staying inside the image because we're going to cut this out. So for this color, we're just going to go right over everything. Just that quick. Okay, next we're going to go with light Saffron. Light Soft Suede. And this we're going to put everywhere we see these dark shadows on the fur. Down the legs, his rump there, okay, part of his belly right there, and we put that yellow on just as a base, just to give him more of a fawn color. And plus you want it to look like, so since he has So Saffron, looks like the lightest will be shining on him because we use So Saffron in our card panel. So there is that. And then we're going to add some dark soft suede, and I'm just going to go around the edges, like the edges of his legs. Okay, just real light. At the very top of his head. Or her head, I should say, because she does not have any antlers. Bad Michelle. Okay, so that was just in the darkest areas, and it's all colored. Now we just need to cut it out, and I fussy cut this out just with a pair of paper snips. By the magic of video, voila, I'm done. So there's our deer all cut out, and to cut his legs, the front legs, you just cut them apart at the bottom, and then you're able to get that space in between there. So that's all cut out, and now we're going to add him to our scene, or her to our scene. You can place her anywhere. You can place her to the side, which is kind of cute. I generally don't like to center it right in the middle. It looks a little odd when you center everything. I did in my first copy just because I put a thumbprint right smack in the middle of my scene. So that's where my deer went. But this one I'm going to put off to the side a bit here. There we go. And there is our main panel. How about that? So for our card that we're going to put it on, you're going to cut 2 of these Calypso coral panels, and you're going to cut them 3.75 by 8.75. You need one for the front, and you need one for the inside. This white panel is the same size as your white main image panel. and it is 3.5 by 8.5. So you cut 2 of those, one for this and one for the inside. And then you have a granny apple green card base that is 8 by 9, and when you fold it, you'll fold it so it's 4 by 9. This is such an awesome size card. I love using this size card because it is it fits perfectly in a business size envelope. Business size number 10. You can get it at any office store, Walmart, Amazon. So easy to pick up, and they're cheap, really cheap. And plus, we have loads of writing room in here. So this just goes on the front. So I'm going to add it on. A little bit of glue here. Add some love. Add it to our card front. I did not put any embellishments on this card, mainly because it really doesn't need it. And you put all this work into your scene, the last thing you want to do is slap a bunch of ribbon on it and cover it up, right? So that's our project for today. All the products used and the card base panels, all that, the sizes are all in the description below the video, so check it out. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye.